Welcome back, guys. So, what a phenomenal day it's been today with all the phenomenal speakers. So much variety of different backgrounds, different stories, different expertise. It's been so amazing. My mind's just going like, oof, and I've been making so many notes. Pen's been going, and now we are going to have even further nuggets and amazing nuggets from an amazing lady. So, Mandeep Kaur is here with us today. She is a personal freedom coach, and she's going to talk through the 3 steps to personal freedom. Now, I have known Mandy for a very long time, and our paths have crossed in really strange ways, but it's so ironic how we are actually so much on the same page as each other with so many different things. Whereas when we started our journeys, we were totally different people, weren't we? And on different pages. So it's just wonderful to have you here. It's such a privilege. And also, guys, Mandeep's joining us from LA. So one of our international speakers here today. I'm so excited to hear from you more. So it's all yours, Mandeep. Go for it.
Hey, Simon, no, it's so good to be here. And yeah, I love that. So I have known Suman for nearly 20 years. Nearly 20 years, which is unbelievable. And it's just amazing how we've stayed connected, even though we are now on completely opposite sides of the world. So thank you so much for having me. And I am going to be sharing a little bit about my story, how I've ended up here, and what you can all do to get more personal freedom from your lives. So I am actually from the very glamorous Birmingham. For those of you who've heard of it, the very glamorous Birmingham. I was born and raised there. I was born to a very traditional Punjabi Indian family, and I was raised with to have the very traditional expectations of what my life would be like. Everything was laid out for me, and I just followed the steps, and I just did what I was told, right? So go to university, meet somebody, and have a family, which is all good. It's all good if that's what you really want. So I got to a point in my life where I had my own home. I had a company car. So for a lot of you, you will have like traditional hallmarks of success. So there was something that I'd grown up with, which made me feel that when I have a company car, that's when I'll be successful. There was something about this symbol. There was something associated with this that I thought, when I have this, then I'm going to be set up. So I had that. I had home. I was in a stable relationship. I had everything that I thought I should have by that time, but I was so unfulfilled. And what I thought my life would be like when I got there was not how I thought it would be. And I felt screwed because I did all the right things, right? I did all the right things that I was supposed to, and I was not feeling how I thought I should feel. So what I really wanted was to travel the world and to go on adventures and do things that were fun. But I was just feeling like my life was being wasted, just absolutely wasted. And what I truly wanted was to break out of the mold and come out of the box and do things differently. And at that point, I realized that I hit a wall and I was done. I didn't want to keep living like that at all, because no matter how successful I was, it was never going to be enough. There was always going to be the next stage and the next stage and the next stage. And why aren't you here yet? And why aren't you there yet? And I was tired of feeling like I would be letting everybody else down by living the life that I really wanted. So yes, I wanted all of these things in my life. I wanted more variety, more adventure, but what was stopping me? And it was my own beliefs and expectations of how I should be showing up. So I had all these expectations from my family, from society, constantly asking me why I'm not further along, why am I not married, why am I not a doctor, these kinds of things. And I was still feeling really conflicted. So then I realized that whatever I do is never going to be living up to other people's expectations. And life is so short. It's so short, guys, that I realized I was done living somebody else's life. I was done And I was going to take control of my own life and start making my own decisions. And once I was committed, I wanted to follow my own dreams. And then what was really interesting was that I started to get a backlash. I was getting judged. There was a lot of tension between my family and I, and about what they thought I should be doing. But I needed to take that leap of faith, because if I was going to go back to how things was, nothing was going to change. So it was really scary. Yes, that's right. Human judgment is high when we start living our authentic lives. Absolutely. And it was scary, but that's why we need courage to overcome all of these things. And I just needed to be me. I made a commitment that I was going to be me. And so since then, I have pushed through and received all of the support that I needed. And I'm rebuilding a relationship with my family on my terms, in a way that I can be me. I can still be part of the community if I choose to be, but I am stepping into a version of myself that is in total alignment of me and what I want, rather than what other people expect of me. So I feel more liberated than I've ever been, and I have more personal freedom than I've ever had. I'm so grateful and love myself so much more that I'm living this life where I get to travel and I work wherever I am, and I have so many amazing, interesting experiences. But that was because I set an intention and made a choice to live it, rather than just keep going out of habit and conditioning. And this is what personal freedom is. It's playing life by your rules rather than other people's, okay? And one of the first steps to do that is to believe that there is another way to begin with. It's to get out of your head and get into your body and get into your heart to find out what truly makes you happy. So many of us have been so used to being told what makes us happy or what should make us happy. In my case, this company car comes to mind, right? This is what I thought I would have when I'd made it. But I never really asked myself what makes me happy and what's going to make me more fulfilled. And so we chase superficial things and we think this is going to make us feel good. Things like money, success, popularity, and so on. But these things bring fleeting happiness. They bring us instant gratification. But our work and what we're doing every day should align with our values. And we should be able to wake up feeling excited, doing the things that matter to us. So step one is from moving from bitching and moaning to asking for and receiving support, because we can just keep going round and doing the same thing every single day and nothing is going to change. And that's actually Einstein's definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting different results, and then we just give up. But when you think of babies and when they're trying to take their first steps, it very rarely does a child try to stand up a few times and think, no, this is too hard. I'm just going to sit on my arse the whole time. No, they just keep going. They keep getting back up. And no matter how many times they fall down, they keep going, because they haven't been conditioned yet to believe that they can't walk or crawl. So they'll keep doing it. Thanks, Tristan. It's really good. I like that analogy too. And step 2 is to take radical responsibility and extreme ownership of our lives. And that means stop blaming other people for the way that our lives have turned out at this point. because we're always looking for other reasons as to why we're unhappy. Like either it's a problem with our home, our job, finances, education, we don't look good enough. I was always complaining about my long commute, unfulfilling job, imperfect life. And the problems are never going to end as long as we keep blaming other people. The more we blame others, the harder it's going to be for us to achieve true happiness and fulfillment. And so we have to take responsibility and get resourceful to get that happiness and fulfillment with what is available to us right now. Because it breaks my heart to think of us at 70, 80 years old thinking, I could have had a great life, but mummy and daddy wouldn't let me, or my boss wouldn't let me. Like, that's really tragic, right? But people do. We blame other people all the time. So that's why we really have to take a look at that and what is blocking us. If things aren't going the way that we wanted, to look at our own mindsets and thoughts and see what we can do to affect the results and look at what we can do differently. Are we putting 100% into every situation? Are we really preparing to deal with the consequences? So that's why we need to take absolute ownership over that and the way that we want to continue our lives going forward. And then number 3 is to take action, to move from excuses to resourcefulness, because we can wish and hope and talk and dream all we want, but it's useless without actually getting off our bums and doing something. And to become free, we do need a lot of action. And what we tend to do is wait until we're ready and wait until the circumstances are perfect and the conditions are right for us. But we'll be waiting forever if we do it that way. We will just keep waiting. So we have to get comfortable getting uncomfortable. So an analogy that somebody showed me once is that the reason that people tend to stay in their comfort zones and what I call they are comfortably unhappy, which sounds quite contradictory. But if you imagine, right, if you have your hands and you put them together, right, like this, have a look at where your hands fall, right? Like, look at which thumb is on top. Okay, so we're going to do this 2 more times. Have a look and see which of your thumbs is on top. Right, and now this time, I want you to put your other thumb on top. Right, so place your hands in a way that your other thumb is sitting on top. It feels weird. It feels weird, right? Whichever hand is your dominant hand, it feels so strange. And you just want to go right. You just want to go back the other way. And this is why we don't do it, because it feels uncomfortable when you're being stretched, when you're doing things differently, even though you know it's going to put you on the road to feeling more fulfilled. That first part of it can feel incredibly strange. It can feel really strange and weird and icky, and we just want it to go back to how it was. And this is the bit that we need to just push through. Keep going until we feel comfortable. Keep going until that new level becomes our new standard out of what we want out of our life, because we are all capable of having extraordinary lives, instead of waking up and feeling like, okay, yes, this could be mediocre. And one of the ways that you can do that is to be open and receiving support and asking for it when you need it. And sometimes that can look like the form of a cheerleader, being part of a community, having friends or family that are going to keep you going and keep reminding you of what you want out of life when things are getting difficult. It can be in the form of a structured mentor, where you have like an additional layer of accountability to make sure you're doing those things when they get hard. And Kuli said, yes, we deserve happiness. Fuck yes. Happiness is our birthright. It is there for us to claim, every single one of us. I think that we are so conditioned to feeling like things are too good to be true, to being addicted to suffering and pain, because we feel that if we're not suffering, then we're not doing life right. And something I want to just make clear is that there's pain and there's suffering. There's pain and there's suffering, and they're two very different things. Suman, you're really making me laugh. I'm glad this is resonating with a few of you here. So pain in life is it's inevitable. It's part of the human experience. We are humans. We are beings in this world having an existential experience, right? So pain is going to come, and we can choose to sit with that, or we can choose to feel it, or we can choose to ignore it, right? But it never goes away. But suffering, this is the part that we can choose. Suffering is the part that we choose. So if you were knocked over by a car, for example, and your arm was broken, would you just sit with the pain and ignore it for the rest of your life? Like, no, you'd go to a doctor and you'd get it fixed, because you're choosing not to suffer with the pain of a broken arm. But how many of us are suffering, and how many of us are sitting with the pain of having unfulfilled lives, right? But we're not choosing to reach out and have support to move through that pain. But it's still mental anguish. It's still mental pain. And I want to leave you all in an empowered state after listening to this. I want you all to know that you can make a choice. It is a choice to have an extraordinary life, to have more personal freedom, to feel more liberated, and to be able to have the life that you want. Everything is within your reach, and you just have to choose it and believe that it's possible.
That's absolutely amazing. Oh,
thank you.
I love that. Like, as you know, everything you ever say, just every time it's like, yes, girl, yes, girl, yes, girl. And I was saying to Tristan before as well, you've got these emojis in the middle. They need a big fire emoji, because honestly, I just would be putting everybody's pages with so many fire emojis. But honestly, that was just on fire. Like I just said, that was just so spot on. I was actually writing things down, but then I got engrossed in what you were saying. So your main 3 steps, I was writing: stop bitching, stop doing the same thing, radical responsibility, take extreme action, and then I've just wrote at the end, you can choose suffering or you can choose freedom. I think there's one step that you had, and I forgot to write it down. What was your 3rd step?
It was taking action.
So the extreme action one. So I did get all of them.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that was, I think you summarized it so well. And it was very empowering hearing you, because it just makes anybody feel, I'm hoping anybody agrees with me who's they've been commenting, and even Nadia said amazing. It's like, it just makes you feel like, yes, if you can do it, of course I can do it. Yes, we can choose where we want to go and how we want our life to be. Why are we choosing to do the same thing and live the same thing? Or, again, we were talking about it in Sam's session as well, the conditioning that we have, and he was talking about the example of the elephant, but doesn't know any better. But we do know better, and once we awaken to it, the world's our oyster. Let's just go out there and do what we need to do. There's so many people who need that energy and support of ours. Let's be that beacon of light to take other people through this journey.
Absolutely. It's hard doing it yourself.
Yeah, you're doing amazing work. You're such amazing, like, just honestly, like, what do you call them? Like, like role models that we need. We'll be feeling like, yes, you know what? Let's take action. Let's take responsibility. This one that you said, radical responsibility.
Yes.
It's so true. So we probably haven't got time for questions right now. We're only up to 6 o'clock, and James is probably waiting for me in his session backstage. So I'm going to join you guys over there. Please do connect with Mandeep. Mandeep, just before we do switch over to James's session, what's the best way for anybody to connect with you?
So it'll be Facebook, and I will put the links. I will make everything available, and I would love to hear from anybody who would like a free session to explore how they can have more personal freedom in their lives.
Fantastic.
I would love to do that for you guys.
Thank you so much, Mandeep. See you guys on the other side.
See you. Bye.